Until Acumen Risk was introduced, I had a very difficult time expressing to program managers which risks in their project would be the top items to mitigate first. Every project has a finite amount of time, effort, and money to be applied to risk mitigation. Therefore, it's essential that budget for mitigation be used diligently and applied to the risks which can have the most severe impact on the project plan. In order to do this, we need to understand which risks on the program can have the most impact. Then, we have to determine which can be mitigated. Without this analysis, we're in the dark and may spend our mitigation budget on items which either have a low probability of occurrence or in fact may pose very little risk to project execution. I have a project open in Acumen Risk right now. In fact, I also have a risk register that has been defined and mapped to activities in my schedule. Let's take a closer look at this risk register. Each risk has been given an ID code and a name. Also, each has been coded as either a threat to the project or an opportunity. Here I have threats, which tells me that an exercise to explore project opportunities would definitely be a worthwhile event. For each item, I've designated a probability of occurrence and then a likely schedule and cost impact should the risk be realized. Over to the right, some of my risks have been flagged as mitigated and have a mitigation profile. That's good information, but we're going to determine which the top risks are and then potentially modify our mitigation plans in order to get the most risk relief for our time, energy, and money. Without mapping the risk register to activities in the schedule, the risk register stands on its own and doesn't affect the schedule. But when we map activities to risks, we're creating a relationship that will affect the schedule as risks are realized. How often and by how much will the activities in the schedule be impacted by the risks? This is determined by the risk attribute pull-down menus here in the risk register. When everything is mapped and looking the way that I want, it's time to run the Monte Carlo simulation. With the simulation complete, let's find out which specific risks are affecting us the most. First, at the project level, here's the list. In the risk impact panel, we can see that all risks aren't created equal. Based on the risk attributes in the risk mapping, we can see which risks are causing the most predicted impact to scheduled tasks. We can show this at the project level or at more detailed levels in the schedule. Each section of the WBS gets its own chart. Next, we can flip the chart and show the impact by risk to each scheduled task or summary. Using these two risk impact charts, we can explore the schedule and find the risks that have the most real-day impact to the schedule. When it's time to determine which mitigation plans to put into action, this is extremely valuable information and will help us spend our mitigation time and dollars as wisely as possible. When you need to mitigate risk, identify them, map them to the schedule, and then see your customized priority list in Acumen Risk. Looking for more information about the Acumen Suite? Find us online at projectacumen.com or write to us on Twitter or at info@projectacumen.com.